Assalamu alaikum. In today's lecture, we will study about the raised intracranial pressure and its management. Intracranial pressure refers to the pressure contained within the cranial cavity. The normal range is between 0 to 15 mm of mercury. ICP over 20 mm of mercury is considered elevated ICP, also known as intracranial hypertension. The management team becomes concerned whenever a patient's ICP is over 15 mm of mercury, but is especially concerned when it reaches level of intracranial hypertension. Definition: it is the pressure of the cerebrospinal fluid in the cranium as exerted by the total volume of blood, cerebrospinal fluid and brain tissue. It is the dynamic state that reflects the volume of content. Intracranial pressure is the measurement of the pressure of the brain tissue and cerebrospinal fluid that cushion and surrounds the brain and spinal cord. Skull has three essential components. These are brain tissue, which comprises 78%, blood, which comprises 12%, and cerebrospinal fluid, which comprises 10%. Any increase in any of these tissues cause increase in ICP. Regulation and maintenance of ICP. According to modified Monro-Cayley hypothesis, if the volume is in any of the components of the brain, these are blood, cerebrospinal fluid, brain tissue, increased within the cranium, then the volume of another component is displaced to keep the ICP constant, which means CSF plus blood plus brain tissue mass is equal to 1700 to 1900. Factors that influence ICP are arterial pressure, venous pressure, intra-abdominal and intrathoracic pressure, posture, temperature, and blood gases. For example, carbon dioxide levels. Increased intracranial pressure. The degree to which factors increases ICP depends upon ability of brain to accommodate to changes. Sustained increase in intracranial pressure causes brainstem compression and herniation. Grading of increased ICP are: normal is 0 to 15 mm of mercury, mild are 16 to 20 mm of mercury, moderate raise is 21 to 30 mm of mercury, and severe is 31 to 40 mm of mercury, and very severe involves more than 40 mm of mercury pressure. Etiology involves two factors. These are mass effect and the increased cerebral blood flow. Mass effect is maybe due to tumor, blood clot formation and edema. And increased cerebral blood flow is due to increased blood pressure, increased carbon dioxide level in the blood, and decreased carbon dioxide level, oxygen level in the blood. Pathophysiology. Pathophysiology of cranial insult or injury leads to tissue damage, increased ICP, and compression of the blood vessels, which leads to decreased cerebral blood flow and ultimately hypoxia. And pathophysiology of edema around the necrotic tissue leads to brainstem compression, accumulation of carbon dioxide, vasodilation, further increase in ICP, and leading to death. Clinical manifestation of ICP, increased ICP, are changes in level of consciousness, headache. In eyes, there may be papilledema, pupillary changes, impaired eye movement. Seizures are impaired sensory and motor functions. Changes in vital signs are Cushing triad. These are increased systolic blood pressure, decreased pulse, and altered respiratory pattern. In posturing are disacerbate, decorticate, and flaccid. Decreased motor function involve changes in motor ability and posturing, changes in speech, and nausea and vomiting. Cushing triad involves hypertension, bradycardia, and diminished respiratory effort. This is the classical signs of ICP, increased ICP. Assessment involves taking history, monitoring vital signs, doing neurological examination, which involves assessing mental status, level of consciousness, cranial nerve function, cerebellar function, reflexes, motor and sensory functions. Diagnostic studies involves computed tomography, to assess ventricular size, shape, edema, correct placement of ICP monitoring devices. Magnetic resonance imaging to detect brainstem lesions. Positron emitted tomography to check compatibility of ICP monitoring devices. Angiogram to detect vascular abnormality, and laboratory test, for example coagulation profile and platelet count. Medical management involve positioning, elevate the head of the bed to 30 degrees, hyperventilation, control blood pressure, maintain cerebral perfusion pressure, CSF drainage and monitoring. Drug therapy involves administration of mannitol, corticosteroids, sedations and analgesics, and also control temperature. Surgical management depends upon the cause. If there are mass lesions present, then excision of mass. If herniation is present, then decompression craniotomy. Hydrocephalus involves ventricular peritoneal shunt and ICP monitoring devices. Nursing management involves a nursing assessment, which involves assessment of airway, breathing, circulation, assess for vital signs, respiratory status, cardiac assessment and temperature, assess for Glasgow Coma Scale, assess for cranial nerves, motor and sensory assessment, radiological assessment and monitoring ICP. Nursing diagnosis involve ineffective airway clearance related to accumulation of secretions as evidenced by diminished cough reflex. On the second comes ineffective breathing pattern related to neurological dysfunction as evidenced by respiratory rate more than 30 breaths per minute and use of accessory muscles. And ineffective cerebral tissue perfusion related to effect of increased ICP as evidenced by restlessness, changes in vital signs, risk for infection related to presence of ICP monitoring devices, and deficient fluid volume related to fluid restrictions as evidenced by poor skin turgor, decreased urine output. Nursing goals are decrease intracranial pressure by maintaining normal mean arterial pressure, maintain CPP more than 60 mm of mercury by maintaining MAP, and maintaining ICP at less than 20 to 25 mm of mercury. Avoid factors that precipitate or aggravate elevated ICP. Nursing interventions involve ensure patent airway, positioning that is elevate the head of the bed at 30 degrees, check for Foley's patency, perform suctioning if needed, administer supplemental oxygen as prescribed, check for ICP monitoring devices are working, give medication therapy as ordered, enforce a bed rest and promote healthy and comfortable environment. This is a sample nursing care plan for a patient with increased ICP. Complication of the disease involve brainstem compression, brain herniation, hydrocephalus, diabetes insipidus, syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone, seizures, permanent neurological deficit, and death. This is all about today's topic. Thank you so much.